So here's just an update of what's happening in LA. Obviously, this is from ABC 7 Eyewitness News, which I've been watching a lot of their live stream on their YouTube channel and a lot of other coverage on this. So they state that the Eaton fire is now 33% contained and the Palisades fire is 14% contained. Here are all the current wildfires burning in Southern California at a glance. So this is a video here done by the CBS affiliate in Los Angeles, and I brought this to attention just to show people. They did this little map here, this kind of CGI'd map of just how widespread this is, because as little the fire could start, like it could have been anything from electrical damages to even a cigarette light, just to show you the widespread containment of this. The fact that it just took over a lot of the mountainside, a lot of these neighborhoods, just at the whim because of how dry it is, how dense it is, how bad the Santa Ana winds are getting, and it's going to get worse later on, just to showcase how big and extraordinary this natural disaster is. Watch this.
In the newsroom here have put together this incredible animation that shows the timeline of how this fire advanced through the communities of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Here it is, January 7th at 6:17. It was at 2,900 acres. And then on January 8th, that explosion to 15,000 acres. And then the next day, 17,000 acres as it progressed into the mountains. And then on the 9th, 19,000 acres. And you can see how far it had gotten into Malibu. And then we come to yesterday at 20,000 acres. And you can see 20 and then to 21,000 acres. But you see how far across it spread, and all the way up to the 11th, which is today at 22,660 acres. This is just information from 7:30 a.m. today.
So just to highlight how dangerous this can get, and obviously the winds aren't helping, the dry conditions aren't helping, the drought's not helping, the mismanagement of Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass is just, I hate to use this pun, adding more fuel to the fire, but no pun intended. It's just literally such a chaotic event that people can't even comprehend to even begin to how to deal with this in a way that doesn't make it such the horrific scene that it is. And that is what's happening right now. That's what's happening with a lot of fire crews. It is just devastating a lot of the Palisades area, a lot of northern part of Pasadena and Altadena, all that area, and many other parts of the state. And it's just so just watching and just seeing the footage, seeing the coverage, seeing the damages. It just pulls the heartstrings to this. It's so emotional. It's so just devastating. And again, my heart and sympathy goes out to those people in California. They're dealing with this. The damage just far exceeds what you can imagine in this significance. So here's an article. This is from ABC in Philadelphia. I guess they are good of a reliable source to cover California, so we're using it. Says California wildfires death toll rises to 24 amid new urgent warnings about more strong winds. The warning begins Monday night and runs through Wednesday morning, officials say. So at least 24 people are believed to be dead, and more than a dozen others remain unaccountable for as multiple wildfires fueled by severe drought conditions and strong Santa Ana winds continue to rage across Southern California, leaving fire crews scrambling to contain the historic destruction. Thousands of firefighters are battling several sprawling wildfires across 45 square miles of densely populated LA County, and about 105,000 people remain under mandatory evacuation orders, and another 87,000 are under evacuation warnings. According to the medical examiner, there have been 16 confirmed deaths linked to the Eaton fire and 8 fatalities due to the Palisades fire. The number of fatalities is expected to rise as officials continue to battle the dual fires. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection listed 3 ongoing wildfires in the Los Angeles area as of Sunday night. The Palisades fire began in the Pacific Palisades area of the city on January 7th. It is at 23,713 acres in size with 13% containment. Approximately 5,000 structures have been destroyed. The Eaton fire north of Pasadena also began on January 7th. It is burning at 14,000 acres with 27% containment on Sunday. Around 7,000 structures are believed to have been damaged or destroyed. The Hearst fire in Selmar, northwest of San Fernando, began on January 7th and has burned 799 acres. It is at 89% containment. Weather officials have issued a particularly dangerous situation red flag warning for western LA County and most of Ventura County beginning on Tuesday at 4 a.m. into Wednesday at noon, warning of a heightening fire risk even as crews rush to extinguish blazes tearing through the region. A new Santa Ana wind event is forecast today through Wednesday, with the strongest winds into Tuesday into Wednesday. Peak winds for this next event will be weaker than those of last week. Nonetheless, winds will be strong enough to potentially cause explosive fire growth. On Monday morning and the rest of the day, winds will be picked up to the mountains and higher elevations, gusting to 20 to 30 miles per hour, locally as high as 50 miles per hour. Pedro Pizarro, the president and CEO of Edison International, told Good Morning America on Monday that the company cannot yet rule out the possibility that its energy infrastructure played a role in sparking wildfires now raging around LA. Fire agencies are investigating whether Southern California Edison, a subsidiary of Edison International, infrastructure sites caused fires in areas devastated by the Eaton and Hearst wildfires. You can't rule out anything ever until you can get your eyes on the equipment, Pizarro said. Typically, when there's a spark created by equipment, we will see the electrical anomaly. But we haven't seen that yet, Pizarro said, as of a possible incident involving Edison infrastructure and the Hearst fire burning outside of San Fernando. That said, we have not been able to get close to the equipment, he continued. As soon as we can get close to it, we'll inspect it and we'll be transparent with the public. We may find something different, Pizarro added. Pizarro said Edison also recorded damage to equipment at the site of the Eaton fire in the mountains north of Pasadena. We do not know whether the damage happened before or after the start of the fire, he said. Officials have not yet determined causes of any of the fires yet. So obviously this is still an investigation. We don't know for sure what is causing these fires. We probably won't know ever really the exact cause of this because of just how dastardly it is, how the winds are going to make things worse coming into this week. They're still burning chaotically. It's still a cluster out there. And there's no real way to investigate. Like, you know, all the ingredients were there to cause this massive spur of fire. All the ingredients were there. You had a drought that's been lasting for how many months? You had no water available to the treatment of fire hydrants and reservoirs that could dampen and add moisture to the area. And you also have these high winds that are elevating the flames into different areas. They're going to pass that along all the different areas along with the brush that's on the forest floor that hasn't been picked up, that hasn't been managed. All of this is just adding more, fuel to the fire. No pun intended. It is just exacerbating the whole situation to containing this fire and just making things worse. So people are not out of the dark yet. There's no, unfortunately, sign of a light that this is almost over, because it's just getting more and more dastardly as time goes on. So, funny how they mentioned, though, about the energy company, because we have seen this before. And I want to urge people and remind people about this. And this is why I bring to attention of this article from CNN, where the last wildfire they had in California, PG&E, which is the Pacific Gas and Energy, had to cough up $45 million settlement related to the wildfire incident, because under investigations, it turned out that the energy infrastructure in California did tip over, did some damage to the area, and causing damages within that specific area in a dry community like California did cause the elevation of these fires to start and cause devastation to a lot of these communities, like Paradise, one of them being burnt to the ground in the last wildfire. This is like common notion to a lot of people. We know originally about this. We covered it a while back on this channel, but I just want to reiterate this article again, because just on the fact that he's bringing up energy companies being involved in this. So it says Pacific Gas and Electric will pay $45 million in penalties for its role in the Dixie Fire, the second largest wildfire in California's history, that started after a tree fell and hit the company's equipment in 2021, state regulators said on Thursday. The massive inferno ignited on July 13, 2021, when power lines owned by PG&E came into contact with a tree, according to CAL FIRE. The wildfire burned for more than 100 days, charring 963,000 acres across 5 counties in Northern California before it was contained on October 25, 2021, according to CAL FIRE. The fire destroyed more than 1,300 structures, including much of the small community of Greenville, about 170 miles north of Sacramento. The settlement with PG&E allocates $40 million in shareholder funding to make hard copy records into an electronic system, which will improve the timeliness of inspections and preventive maintenance, the California Public Utilities Commission said Thursday. The company will also pay $2.5 million in fines to the California General Fund and $2.5 million to the tribal communities impacted by the fire, the Utilities Commission added. PG&E is committed to making it right and making it safe for our customers and hometowns, and has resolved claims with the 5 impacted communities and numerous individuals and families, the company said in a statement to CNN. PG&E accepted CAL FIRE's conclusion that a tree falling on its power line caused the fire, but the company believes it has acted as a prudent operator, the company said in a statement Thursday. There is no evidence that PG&E consciously and willfully disregarded a known risk with regard to the ignition of the Dixie Fire, the statement said. We followed the California Public Utilities Commission requirements when inspecting, maintaining, and operating our system. PG&E noted the statement will not impact costs for customers, as it is not requesting rate recovery, adding that the agreement doesn't preclude PG&E from receiving cost recovery for costs related to the fire, including from the state's wildfire fund. The utility company has been involved in several multi-million-dollar settlements related to destructive wildfires in recent years. So, I want to highlight that, being the fact that in the last article, they brought in the guy from the Edison company to talk about how they don't know for sure if that was the possible igniter that started these fires. We don't know for sure. Like I said, it's going to be a while till we get an actual answer in investigating into this situation. They're still dealing with a lot of the blazes. But considering the amount of times we have seen this preemptively over and over and over again in a state like California, considering this is the 5th largest economy on earth, considering the fact that they pay the most in taxes, considering the fact that you have the luxuries that a lot of other states don't have, Why are they not investing in upkeeping with the energy infrastructure? Why are they lacking in the investment in the infrastructure of water? Like, talk about how dangerous it is to be in a state like California. Forget about the crime, forget about, that stuff in just, Los Angeles and the city departments. But just think how crazy it is that you're in an area where it's frequently dry, where there's droughts periodically, when a fire can break out at any point in time. And the power companies, the energy infrastructure is so lacking that a tree could just fall down and ignite an entire blaze that wipes out an entire community. That is crazy, folks. That is crazy. Like, how can you operate a state like that? How can you have habitants? And this is what I said before in a couple of other videos. California, if you're going to have communities, if you're going to have LA, which is a large population in the state alone, if you're going to have residency there, you have to act on these measures. You have to act in accordance to what your state's going to get. You're living in a place that has frequent wildfires. You're living in a place that gets frequent earthquakes and tsunamis and natural disasters. So you have to act in coordinates with that. That's why I put a bit of blame on Gavin Newsom. That's why I put the blame on Karen Bass. I don't know for sure if they are purposely in result of these wildfires. I'm not saying that they intentionally want these fires to come ablaze, but I'm saying that as governor and as a mayor, as representatives of these areas, you have to put into action to make sure it's safe and habitable for your citizens that are living in this area. You know that there's wildfires frequently. You know that there's been a drought for how long. You need to put these implementations in action in order to preserve your residency in the state, in order to build infrastructure, in order for communities to survive in a state like California. And it's just amazing that this is the 5th largest economy. You have Hollywood, you have all these celebrities here, you have Silicon Valley, you have all the technical advancement you can get, and yet this still happens. So I'm not ruling out that possibly this could be just a power line failure, that the energy infrastructure is so lacking. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm not ruling it out. That could be part of the investigation. That could be part of the scenario. We won't know for sure. Like I said, we won't know for sure till God knows when we'll start doing investigations. But the fact that the infrastructure is so lacking in a place like California, and you expect people to remain there and live there and be part of the California society while this is going on, you wonder why people leave the state. You wonder why so many predominant people leave the state. Like, you're paying the highest amount of taxes. Where's that money going towards? If it's not going towards infrastructure, then what is it going to? Is it going to hair gel for Gavin Newsom? God only knows. Because it's definitely not going towards the safety and security of maintaining communities within California. Because that's what all this involves.